I got one.
What's the focus of this one?
Prenatal Pilates. So part of my training was prenatal, postnatal Pilates. But somehow I became the prenatal instructor at the studio. There was 5 or 6 instructors. I was 21 at the time. I was the only one who either wasn't married and did not have kids. Everyone else had kids, had gone through pregnancy. Somehow I was the Pilates instructor for the prenatal classes 3 times a week. And about every 6 to 8 weeks, the group would kind of rotate, like, who was in the class, because of course they're only pregnant for so long, and some of them can manage to take the class the whole time, some of them can't, and a lot of them start late, like they're already 6-7 months pregnant when they start prenatal Pilates. But somehow this class honestly became my birth control. The things I would learn from these women would blow my mind. And
she uses the term learn loosely.
But somehow the discussion of childbirth in general came up, and how beautiful it was, and how when I have children, that when the nurses ask me if I want the mirror, I need to have the mirror. And I'm literally standing there going, mirror? What mirror? Why do I want a mirror when I'm delivering a baby? Where is this mirror going? And the lady who was really pushing this conversation ends up telling me that they will hold a mirror so that you can watch yourself deliver the baby. I was horrified. One, I had no plans.
Are you telling me that when you're in the bathroom going poo, you don't look at the reflection in the surface of the water?
Okay.
Am I the only one? Sometimes I just grab the hand mirror and just shove it between my legs. I'm like, I want to see what's going on down there.
You don't.
Ooh, the wonder of human biology.
Yeah, it just took the words right out of my mouth. Like, I didn't know the mirror existed. Now, I've been corrected since then and been told part of the reason the mirror is used is to help women push if they're struggling to push because they've lost sensation or whatever. It can kind of give them a visual. But that was not the context that the lady was sharing it with me.
It's like when you install a mirror above your bed.
No, that is not the same either. Where are you going with this? Anyways, we should change the subject. It
enhances my concentration. And that flashing light on the teddy bear is nothing. You don't have to worry about it.
I've got another one. So this is more of a personal, like, training. Sully, for the very first time, he decided that he wanted to do a cut, and he did this like bodybuilding program, and he did the diet that went with it, and he dug deep, like he stuck to it. It was insanely strict. At the time, his brother needed us to dog sit for him, and we had the dog with us for 3 months. I'm not sure if we had been at work. I think it might have been one of those things where Sully went home on his lunch break, put fish in the sink to defrost.
It wasn't in the sink; it was on the counter. Because when you're me, you don't want to take the time to wait for the fish to thaw out in the fridge the way it should. So I just set it on the counter.
Right. So we come home.
This nice big family pack of tilapia.
Yeah.
Say what you will about tilapia, but it was cheap and effective.
It probably tasted like dirt, but...
No, these were good. These were good. I recently purchased some tilapia frozen, like all individually vacuum packed, so it looked like really nice and legit.
That was the dirty fish that we just ate?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it's and that's
so
the
bad.
problem that you run into with like these fish production facilities is that sometimes either the water is not very clean or that is really the crux of it. Bassa is generally known for that type of issue as well, and there's a big issue with the catfish farmers of America. They're all over that because they have really strict standards for the making sure that the flavor of their catfish doesn't impart this like really dirty flavor. But catfish from overseas that's cheaper, that starts to dilute the market is, it's cheap, but it also doesn't hold to those standards. And anyways, it cuts into their bottom line and stuff like that and blah, blah, blah. But
anyways, back to the story. So we come home and the dog, which is a boxer, managed to get up on the counter, steal the entire package of fish, take it over to the couch, rip it open, and eat all the fish. And
on the couch.
On the couch.
On the couch.
So I was grossed out about the fact that the dog had like eaten one raw fish, two on the couch, so I had to clean the couch. Sully, on the other hand, was so pissed about his damn fish being eaten. He had no dinner that night because the dog had eaten it all.
No, I made sure I had dinner. Missed meals and missed opportunities, so I was all over that shit.
But it was just, it wasn't according to plan because
exactly. When you're on when you're going straight edge and you're crossing all your T's and dotting all your I's, everything's planned out to the last little bit, and then this fucking happens. You walk in, and your fucking fish is gone because the fucking dog ate the fucking fish. I'm just like, ugh.
There's an R rating on this episode.
Ooh, I'm so mad.
Yeah. I think so. They learned his lesson of where he places the food after that. No, you must not have, because we still had a dog. We dog sat and we had a dog eat chocolate. And we came home.
Well, I don't even know how she got that.
We don't know how she got the chocolate, but we came home and this dog, I was like, what's wrong with her? She looks like she's on drugs,
she's like panting,
high. She's like, and her eyes are just like all over the place, and she's like, and this is like drooling everywhere. This is a old lazy dog who won't even walk to the corner of the street. Yeah, it turns out she ate like Baker's chocolate, and we had to take her to the vet and get her stomach pumped because
which we didn't actually do.
Oh no!
No.
Oh, they just kept her overnight.
Well, too much time had passed, so I think they gave her some charcoal. And then that. And
it's okay. She had already peed or pooped all over the front entrance by the time we got her to the vet.
Yeah, she pooped right in the foyer. That's funny. Verbal altercations with clients. This is a client I had been training for quite some time, and for whatever reason, she enjoyed training with me. And she would actually only train with me and the co-owner of the facility. And she was just kind of very particular, a little bit older. And very respected member of the we'll go ahead and say hospital or medical community. Anyway, so she had asked me the one day how she could. Now, again, her being very particular. This is one of those clients who you always hand them their weights, and then you take their weights back when they're done with them. It's just some clients you kind of know that. I mean, you can do it with all your clients. I still do it with clients today who I definitely don't feel like I need to do that for them. But there are some clients who kind of I guess maybe they expect that.
Well, it's also the whole personal training touch. Like you're handing them what they're going to do because you're one-on-one versus in a group.
It's very ironic, You're trying to show them how to do work, meanwhile you're doing work for them. So she had asked me, how do I improve my grip strength? How do I get my grip strength better? I told her, well, you can start grabbing your own weights. And her response to that was tell me to go to hell. And it was so freaking funny. And you might think that that's like appalling for a 50 plus old female respected member of the community to tell this jackass in a gym go to hell, and just think that it's like that's probably the end of it, never training that person again because they're not going to want to train with me again. No, it was just those I think you have to remember that even with the people who are closest to you, those are the ones who those are the balls that you bust the most, right? And so it was more like that. But I was actually kind of shocked when she said it, because she's also one of those people who she's fairly serious most of the time, but she can make a joke.
Prim and proper.
But she can make a joke. And that's just kind of how I took it. It's one of those things where you can imagine her saying, go to hell, and just having like that little smirk in the corner of her mouth. It was a totally situation like that.
But we had very odd clients at this job. Like, I had a client who I was not allowed to make her sweat. For some reason, she had a thing about sweating. So somehow I had to work her out, but not work her out hard enough that she would sweat.
God forbid.
Including in the summer when it actually gets quite humid in London. And then we had the client who we were not to discuss nutrition with. Like, I did her intake, and there was an order to the intake that we were given, and I get to the nutrition section and she tells me, it is not up for discussion. We will not be discussing nutrition. That is not why she is here. And
we're talking about a person who's well over 300 pounds. Now, it's fine if someone doesn't want to come to a personal training center explicitly for the purpose of losing weight, but clearly that was a factor.
That was probably what initially brought them in there, but they weren't saying that was what brought them in there. But somehow one of the other trainers managed to ask her what she ate before she came in. And she had admitted to eating a Razzle Dazzle cupcake. So those like gourmet cupcakes that started to become super popular. So her nickname
the ones
became
that are like 50% icing.
Yeah, so her nickname became Razzle Dazzle. And like as we got to know her training, it would always be like either a Razzle Dazzle cupcake or a donut or a chocolate bar before she came in. So we talk about nutrition to make sure that clients have the energy to get through the workout. But in this case, it was kind of one of those, like, they did not want to discuss it. It didn't matter whether she felt horrible for what she had eaten. Like, horrible as in, like, it could upset her stomach or not give her the energy she needed to work out or whatever.
When you're that fixated on wanting or not wanting, as it was in this case, to even discuss a topic, just casually discuss it. Clearly it bothers you. Clearly there's some sort of neurological pathology happening there. Because I'll just entertain some nutrition kind of talk, just, asking people what they had this morning or whatever with clients with absolutely no intention of offering them any advice, anything like that. It's just, you're trying to get to know your client better is really what it's about. And in this business, it's incumbent upon us to help our clients approach finding balance in their lives by addressing all the facets that feed into singular goals. And you're not going to find a successful regimen that leads to an end goal of weight management or strength gain or performance that doesn't include both training and nutrition. So, I mean, I may not try to necessarily tell people, maybe how they should modify things, but I definitely want to know because if there are any glaring problems, then I'm going to try and help them out with that. But when the mere suggestion of what are you eating? What's your diet like? When the reaction to that is so filled with animosity that you can't even just casually kind of chat about it. There's something going on there. And maybe she should be talking about it because there's a heavy sense of denial that I'm getting from that. And being a kid who grew up fat and obese, don't act like I don't know the trials and tribulations of being an overweight individual and having to deal with, all the shit that goes along with that. I've been there. I done that. But I don't try to hide it away and pretend like it doesn't exist. And the fact of the matter is, obesity is a burden on not only the healthcare system, but the reason it's a burden on the healthcare system is that it's a burden on your health. There are a slew of issues that span from down-regulated insulin responses to blood pressure and cardiovascular disease issues. It's a long list. And not everyone suffers from all the same things. It can be one more than the other and things like that. But, it's a burden on the system nonetheless. So, all we want to do is make sure that, people have the tools they need to get through their lives and live them as well as they can. But when we come up against that barrier where they're literally trying to fight against us, when we're not even, trying to tell them even how to live their lives, let's just chat about it, then, that's a problem. And then we get into the subject that I kind of feel is a bit more pertinent, more interesting, which is the psychological implications of all of this. Usually when I'm working with people, whether it be training or nutrition, I'm really honing in on, okay, what are the psychological and potentially also psychosomatic factors that are feeding into why someone is having trouble with their nutrition, training, performance, or weight management goals. I think that more than anything else is often what it comes down to when I'm working with people. I usually have to address those factors more than silly things like what the best diet is or what the best training routine is. I've had clients who talk to me about this nonsense about the best diet or the best training, and they can't even leave their house. Right? It's the simple things that you need to address first, and don't even worry about all those minutia and subtle nuances when you can't even get the basics right. I remember training back in London, training in the front section of the gym there, and this dude who I think he was some male guy who's delivering something, and he pops in and delivers something, and then before he goes, he asked me as I'm training this client, he's like, "Hey man, what's the best exercise? What's the best, if you could recommend exercise, what's the best exercise?" And I hope you're rolling your eyes at this moment. But you know what I said to him? And I'm not usually intelligent enough to think of something really good off the cuff, but I just kind of cocked my eyebrow and was just kind of like, regular exercise? Like we tell people, you need regular exercise. Consistency, right? And without even realizing it, I was like, wow, how profound is that? And for most people, that's really what it is. Just like have a little bit of consistency in your life.
Yeah, that's huge.
And so I don't know if he was satisfied with that answer or not, but nonetheless, that's what he got from me.
He probably didn't understand it is really what it probably came down to, in all honesty.
Anywho, so I hope you enjoyed those stories. And we're going to come back at you with some more serious stories as well as some inspirational ones to help cap off this little departure from our normal...
our business focus.
Our business focus. Okie dokie. We'll
We'll catch you next time.
yeah, we'll pick it up with those stories on the next one. See you guys.